Hello, everybody, and welcome to Frankenstein's podcast, where it's all about the monster. We are a creature feature podcast about monsters and why we love them. I am Joe Praska, one of your hosts. Khalid Hussein is not currently with me at the moment, but he is the other host. We are off this week and took a short break after our last episode. We just wrapped up our Kai Jubilee series, and we're taking a little bit of time off. But it is the spooky season. It's just about to be Halloween, so we thought we'd get something out for you all in celebration of the spooky season. Those of you who've been listening to the podcast know that we do have a Patreon now that is a place where we host short episodes we call Frankenbits. So what you're about to listen to here is an example of one of our Frankenbits that we did last year, actually right around this time, to celebrate Halloween, where we talked about some of our favorite spooky songs that are on our Halloween playlists. It was a really fun one. I enjoy making Halloween playlists. I think it's a lot of fun to get in the spirit of things, and it was fun to share some of our faves, and I added a few new ones based on Khalid's recommendations as well. So for those of you who may not know about our Patreon, I do always try to point out that this podcast for us is a labor of love. We put in the effort for it. We don't have any sponsors. We don't have any funding coming through this. So anything on Patreon, any support we can get is truly, truly much appreciated. As it stands right now, we have 3 tiers of membership. We have at the $1 a month level, you could be an official Frankenstein, of course, I'm making a mistake still, Frankenstein, where you will get a shout out on our official feed, and we'll just have our gratitude. At the Frankenstein Plus level, Frankenstein Plus, you will get access to these Frankenbits, these short episodes, which we aim and endeavor to release once every month. Doesn't always happen because, again, we are busy and have different schedules for work. And so that's where you have access to the extra content. And then lastly, there is a newer level, the F1000 Frankenstein, which is a $7 a month level. And with that, you not only get access to the Frankenbits, but you will also be listed as a producer on the show, aside from getting the regular shout out. We have 2 F1000 Frankensteins right now, our friends Luke Johnson and Andy Groth, who've been guests on the pod before, and we just appreciate their continued support, and really everyone who's on the Patreon as well. So if you are interested in supporting us, the Patreon is a great way to do it. Another way, if funding is not, or money is not really in the cards for you right now, which I get, just leaving us a nice review on Apple or wherever you listen to your podcast can always help get us into more ears. So anything like that. And if you want to leave us a nice review, drop an idea for a show for us. What's your favorite monster movie? Is there a monster or creature feature type thing that we have not covered that you'd like to hear? Let us know in a review, right? That'd be great. So without further ado, what I have for you here is our Frankenbits episode from last year, where we talk about our favorite spooky songs for the spooky season.
Gods, what a monster!
What's up, Frankensteins? Welcome to Frankenbits. Hey, Khalid. I'm going a little informal with this one because it's the after party, if you will.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, listeners, I know we don't have video yet, but for the Frankenbits, Joe's wearing a really colorful button-up shirt, and he's got a coconut with an umbrella in it, and he's sipping from it. This is a completely different Joe than we're used to.
Yeah, this is the after party Frankenbits, Joe.
Yeah, but I'm Khalid, your other host of Frankenstein's podcast and Frankenbits.
What's up, Khalid?
Not much, Joe. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm coming to this with the assumption that most listeners of Frankenbits have a cursory knowledge of Frankenstein's podcast.
I mean, I hope so, unless they're just really supportive of random podcasts they've heard of.
That also could be true. And if that's the case, we are a creature feature podcast about monsters and why we love them. But our Frankenbits bonus episodes are not necessarily always about monsters. They're just about other things. So welcome.
Welcome. Thank you all for your time.
Yes, thank you, especially to those of you listening to this, which would assume that you would be a patron at this point, unless I'm releasing this later, and then you are maybe not, but you might potentially become one. So thank you also.
The possibilities for why you're being thanked are endless.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is kind of a fun one. The episode that we're gonna do, Khalid. Before I dig into like what we're doing, I wanted to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
I don't know. Am I?
Yeah. What ghoul is the best dancer?
Okay. Okay. Ghoul. What ghoul is the best dancer?
Mm-hmm.
Ghoul.
Mm-hmm. Ghoul.
Dancer. The boogeyman?
No, yeah. Wow. Yeah, you got it.
Holy shit.
Oh, that was good. That was good.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm finally starting to understand your mind now, and it's not fun, but I feel like I'm like chasing a serial killer where it's like, oh, it's working.
This is after party Khalid. He's getting in on the puns.
I'm just learning how the monster thinks.
Hey Khalid.
Hey Joe.
What kind of music does a mummy listen to on Halloween?
Ugh, rap music.
Yep, you got it. You got it.
Okay, I'm going back to just not knowing what the hell you're talking about. This is eerie. that one came really fast for me.
No, you're on the same wavelength. That's awesome. I love it.
I don't love it. If I'm being real, this scares me.
This is great, Khalid.
I'm
I'm feeling good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, while you're feeling good, tell the listeners what we're doing here.
Well, we are going to do a special episode. We actually planned to do this like a year ago, and I think I got super sick, and this was just be on the main feed, but we decided to come back to it and do it now. But we're doing an episode that's just focused on a couple of our favorite spooky tunes that might populate our Halloween playlists. I was trying to workshop names for this episode, and I was trying to go with alliteration, so I thought like monstrous music, but didn't like that. Spooky songs is probably the best. I think spooky songs is cool. But I also came up with terrifying tunes, daunting ditties, creepy chords, malaised melodies. Which one do you like the best, Clede?
Honestly, it's a 8-way tie with everything you just mentioned. They all say the same thing to me.
I'm kind of going back to malaised melodies. That's pretty cool.
I'm gonna be honest, that one's actually dead last now that you've mentioned it again.
All right,
I'm going. It's malaise doesn't play off the mouth as well.
Play your mouth.
Oh God! All right, I think you went back to business, Joe, for a second there.
Yeah, after party.
After party. All right.
Anyway, so this is about our Halloween songs that we like. We decided to forego, like, of course, the Halloween classics, like you got your Thrillers, your Ghostbusters, your Monster Mashes, what have you. But we thought we'd kind of go into a little bit more, I want to say deeper cuts. I mean, like Halloween people and like, I don't know, spooky music aficionados would definitely like know probably what we're going to talk about. But I think it's still fun to kind of like give some fun spooky season music recommendations. Don't you, Khalid?
I mean, I wouldn't be here if I didn't.
Fair. Personally, I've been working on a Halloween playlist for like several years now that like every year, like I add some new songs to it or find some new ones to add to it. But it's a joy. I don't know. For me, it's really fun. Like every October, I'm like really pumped to start playing that. A lot of good stuff. So shall we start digging into it?
Let's do it.
So how this episode is going to work, listeners, is we're going to go back and forth. We each got 3 songs that we wanted to suggest this Halloween season, this spooky season, to all of you, 3 each, and then I think 1 or 2 honorable mentions each as well. So do you want to start, Khalid, or should I start?
You know what, Joe? Since you've been hyped for a year now and we kind of got delayed with the sickness and everything last year, I'm going to let you do the honors of just jumping in. I want to hear your first song.
All right, Khalid, I'll jump right into it, as you say. My first song that I picked "You're Dead" by Norma Tanega, which I believe you've heard before, and most of our listeners who are fans of the What We Do in the Shadows TV show has probably heard that. It's the theme music for the opening credits for that show. But I don't know. I think it's a good one to have on like your Halloween playlist. It's from so Norma Tanega is a folk pop singer, painter, and experimental musician. It's from a 1966 album called "Walkin' My Cat Named Dog." So it's actually a really old song. But of course, it's kind of come back to life from the show. The song itself, like if you actually listen to lyrics or hear what she was trying to write about, is actually about the life of a struggling artist and how they often don't live that long. But it kind of does have like a fun, spooky vibe, which I kind of dig, and it's catchy. I don't know. I like that one.
Nice. That's great. And I have heard that song and I love it. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's such a great like kind of I guess like like a
Yeah.
lo-fi hit, you know, in terms of like it's just like a nice repeating melody and like the
Mm-hmm.
things they're talking about are like it's like conceptually spooky.
Yeah, yeah, and it's got kind of like those vibes. It's like it's good for like a Halloween mixer, like playing in the background. You're like chatting with friends. Like it's not like a dancing song or like a really like spooky song, but it's a fun one for the season.
Yeah, 100%. Great first one out the gate, Joe.
Thank you, Khalid.
Uh
How about you?
yeah, thank you for asking. My first pick is going to be Girl Anachronism by the Dresden Dolls.
Ooh,
Yeah, I was really just racking my brain trying to think of like what is like a spooky song or a Halloween song or one of the other 7 or 8 like options you gave us for this.
yeah.
And I think what I came back to was like, yeah, like obviously with the like popular ones, there's like this like need to make it spooky or like talk about like, you know, like I was walking through the grave and like really just like baseline painting like okay, what would just objectively be scary. And what always gets me in horror movies is like when they turn life into like just something scary, you know, like the best movies like Hereditary, before any of like the really bad stuff happens, a bunch of really bad stuff happens just on a baseline like family level that you're just like, I wouldn't want that to happen to me. Even like honestly, if I could have none of that happen to me and just the cult stuff happen to me, I might take it. And so I think that like that's what like the best horror does is like it makes like real life feel just as like genuinely like tough to deal with and like empathizes with the characters on that level. And that's why I picked Girl Anachronism because it's really aside from the style of it, which like feels like a musical German expressionistic thing of like just like old school like horror style jumps and starts with the music, the piano keys just like hammering in, her voice slowing down and speeding up at awkward times, never really letting you settle in. Aside from just like the audio components of it, the lyrics themselves are just about a person who feels out of time, you know, which is like the most relatable feeling. But like they bring this like horror ambiance around it that makes it like an extra layer of like, no, like this is the horror for me is that like I never feel like I belong wherever I am at that time. And so yeah, I would really recommend that to anybody who wants to just kind of get like a fun, disjointed, scary, spooky feeling in a song.
It's a good pick, Khalid. I think that they're a fun like duo for like Halloween in general because they got like spooky persona. I don't know if you I don't think I ever told you this because I actually saw the Dresden Dolls live like back in high school.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, because they've been around since like 2000. I think they've been around for a while. But I saw them as
Yeah.
an opener for another band I was at, and I was like, "What is this?" I was like just immensely fascinated. It was like a random show somewhere in Minneapolis that I remember. Like we used to go to shows all the time in that like late high school. But they opened, and it was I remember they played. I can't remember which song. It might have been "Coin Operated Boy" if you remember that song. But they
Oh,
played
yeah, I love that song too.
yeah, they played that one and like the show like that they just put on with like the makeup and like the actions they were doing on set on the stage was so cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a
No,
good
I
pick. Good pick.
thank you. Yeah, I first discovered Dresden Dolls in high school too, and yeah, I just like this is probably the first time I listened to the song in nearly 15 years, and it still holds up. It's a banger.
Yeah.
What's the next one for you, Joe?
Next one I put on the list is a song called "Rollin' the Headless Thompson Gunner" by Warren Zevon, and you might know Warren Zevon from his more famous song "Werewolves of London."
Mm.
And that is also a great Halloween song. I'll give that some credit, but it's a very popular one, so I don't want to spend too much time on that one. So "Rollin' the Headless Thompson Gunner" is another song from his 1978 album "Excitable Boy." It was also, interestingly, the last song he ever performed in front of an audience before he died in 2003, which was on Letterman. He it's so it's the song is like a story of a fictional character named Roland, who's this Norwegian guy who becomes embroiled in like the Nigerian Civil War and Congo crisis in the 60s. And essentially he's like a mercenary, earns a reputation as the greatest Thompson gunner, and attracts the attention of the CIA. He's betrayed and then murdered by a fellow mercenary who blows off his head, and then Roland becomes a phantom headless Thompson gunner and eventually gets his revenge. So it's this interesting, like, I don't know, almost like political intrigue story that turns into a ghost story. But it's also like light and catchy, as Warren Zevon tends to do with like really dark materials, and like just makes it like tuneful and catchy and fun to sound. So it's a cool like song. A lot of good piano riffs. He wrote it like I think he wrote it in early 70s, where he met like a co-writer of this song in a bar. After this guy he'd met actually had been working as a mercenary in Africa, so he was inspired by that guy's like life to write this song. So anyway, it's kind of got a cool backstory. And if you like Werewolves of London or like any other Warren Zevon, this is like definitely pop up there as one I think it would enjoy and have fun. It also like doesn't sound like on the surface level like a spooky song when you're playing it on a playlist. Like we kind of talked about, like You're Dead has like that kind of lo-fi vibe of like like a Halloween party. Like you wouldn't necessarily like, you'd hear this and then be like, what, this is like this like upbeat piano song. But then like, yeah, it's a cool like dark ghost story with some like weird spooky themes. But yeah, so that's my second pick.
Heck yeah, great pick. I don't know that song personally, but you have sold me. I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, you gotta. What's your next pick, Khalid?
My next pick is gonna be Dragula by Rob
Ooh.
Zombie. So for this one, I really was like, okay, spooky song. I'm trying to think of like, when you're like fears are most informed, but still like childlike, and that's like middle school, high school era for me. And so I was thinking like, what did my scary goth friends listen to? That was really like where I pulled this one from. And like, obviously my mind went to Rob Zombie, because I don't know, like for our time period, he was definitely on that Carpenter level for me, in terms of like what little I did know of him just scared the shit out of me. And he was also directing at that time, so House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Reject, like we'd watch those. And then like when we were driving, sometimes my radio tuner would like switch to 93X for a second, and all of a sudden I would just hear Dragula playing, and I'd be like, who is this like grungy demon man? And then the music video was like playing all the time, and that's like just a whole other layer of like crazy images. But coming back to it now as an adult who's just like 5% less scared of Rob Zombie, I find myself really just enjoying it. It was fun. Like the lyrics are great. It's just like, dead I am the one exterminated son. Like it's just like this like real like just drone, but like almost like primal droning the whole way through. That's like so fun to just like, yeah, no, I get it. Like if I was 13 and pissed about living in the suburbs, like this is what would wake me up, like this is my cup of Joe. And I just you made such a face at that. I really no, I just really I responded to it in like a perky way, and it was so just enjoyable. And I realized watching the music video, what I love about it is that like, yeah, this is like the spirit of horror, is like it's this fundamentally goofy thing that you just like take dead serious. And like for this, it's like he's just driving around in like the car from the Munsters, and he's got like this giant like demon baby statue behind him in the video all the time, and it's like they look like ringleaders, but like it's like, no, yeah, it's like if they were trying to kill you, this is all scary, you know what I mean? And it's just pageantry, and it's fun, and it's for me, for my money, that's what Halloween is at the end of the day. It's like a fun little fashion show where like the theme is being a little twisted. So that is my second pick, Joe.
That's a good one. I was super surprised just knowing like your general music taste. Like when you sent me that, and I was like, Khalid picked a Rob Zombie song, huh? But
Hey,
yeah,
man.
the context makes sense. Yeah.
Exactly. You can't find everything in your backyard.
Did you see his Monsters remake?
I did not, but I know he's a huge Munsters fan, so
Oh, yeah,
I might.
obviously.
Yeah, maybe we'll do it for the
Yeah,
pod someday. The regular pod when you're back at work, not fun after party, Joe.
that's true. Yeah, I got to get a little serious there. Yeah, a little more serious than that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you a Munsters fan growing up, or were you an Adams Family guy?
Oh, Adam's Family all the way. I Munsters I get, but like it was just
Hmm.
like it's a sitcom where everybody's wearing costumes. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Whereas like Adam's Family is like, check out this effed up family. Plus the parents are super horny for each other, which was like just a fascinating dynamic as a kid. Like they never did
Hmm.
anything that was like, oh yeah, like let me think of sex, but it was just like, oh the parents are into each other. This seems healthy.
It seems healthy. Yeah, exactly. I grew up watching mostly the Munsters. I don't think I watched much Adams Family until I was a lot older.
I mean, I didn't watch like the show Adam's Family or anything. It was just the movies, like Adam's Family and
Okay.
Adam's Family Values.
Oh yeah, the shows. Yeah, my parents were all about having the like TV Land, old school like black and white shows on all the time. So
Yeah, I don't know.
yeah.
I guess the black and white era missed me, other than the Andy Griffith Show.
All right.
I'll go to bat for those any day. Anyways,
Oh, fair,
Joe,
fair. Yeah, fair.
what is your third and final song?
All right, my third and final song is this is a tough choice for me because this artist has a lot of ones that would work, but I chose "Where the Wild Roses Grow" by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, which also features Kylie Minogue. I don't know. Have you heard this one before, or is this new to you as well?
New to me. Well, actually, you sent me a bunch of their songs at one point, or at least like you recommended them to me one point, and so I listened to them.
You
So
may
I
have.
might
Okay,
have heard it.
so Nick Cave, he's an Australian singer, songwriter, poet, author, writer. Sometimes he's an actor. I believe he was in. I think he was in that Seven Psychopaths movie. I could be wrong. He's been in some movies. You might see him, but he's kind of got this like darker, like grungy artist like vibe. So it's interesting that he has this duet with Kylie Minogue. And do you know who Kylie Minogue?
I'm familiar.
So she's like this like Australian like pop singer, right? So like they're very, very different artists, and so like the juxtaposition here is super interesting. But basically the idea of the song, this one's like a really spooky, like haunting melody, like slow. Yeah, you listen to the lyrics, it kind of builds dread as you're listening to it. So it's like this is like a real like scary one. But he was inspired to write this after he listened to the song "Down in the Willow Garden," which is this old Appalachian folk song, which is a tale of a man who like kills a woman while they're out together. And so this song is basically, it's a murder ballad. If I don't know if you heard of the term murder ballads before, but like it's kind of been made famous over the years from lots of different songs, like the Beatles have them, like Maxwell Silverhammer, or like Stagger Lee is a classic murder
Mm.
ballad, right, about someone killing. And Nick Cave actually has his version of Stagger Lee on this album too. But he wrote a 1996 album called Murder Ballads, where it's like entirely that's the concept of the album, right? And so this is one, and it's this basically a story of this guy and this girl who kind of get together, and she's singing about like, I don't know why people call me the wild rose, and she's kind of singing it, we find out kind of later on, like from the afterlife, and he's singing about the perspective of like leading her up to the time when he kills her. Kind of like, he's like, oh, one of his lines is like, all beauty must die, and he like smashes her, and it's like the rose is like the red is like meant to be like the blood of it. So it's really creepy and dark. Has like a very like emotional, like distinct kind of style of like singing compared to some of the other ones he's done. Anyway, I don't know, it's I'd say like Nick Cave has this like characteristic like deep like baritone voice, right? And this like interest that he has with like the like death and violence and the macabre is just like all of that is like on full force here. And so this is why I chose that one out of his whole album of like murder ballads. I think this one's just the most spooky and also just the most interesting with that like combo with him and like Kylie Minogue doing this. It's a good one. I think it's not really like a fun song per se, like in the background of a party, but like if you're like looking for like something to put on your Halloween playlist, more like to get you in like that spooky mood to watch like a horror movie or something, like I think this is right up your alley on that one. So check it out. 96 album Murder Ballads. You can check out all of them too. They're all pretty good for Halloween.
But this is the spookiest murder ballad.
It's a pretty spooky one. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Just want
Yeah.
to make sure it was the spookiest murder ballad.
Spookiest. Yeah. Of that album per se, maybe.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. Fair. Fair.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, Khalid, you had an honorable mention, right?
I'm actually still on my third one,
Oh
actually.
yeah, you are.
So
That's right. Go for it. Are you
yeah,
really?
yeah.
Oh
You
yeah.
started this.
I guess all right. That's how numbers work, right?
Yeah, we figured out how days work on the main pod, and now we're figuring out how numbers work.
Yeah. All right. Go
Um,
for it. Number 3.
Number 3 for me. I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I'm something of a jokester, so I had to have at least.
No.
Me, no. I'm something of a jokester on the pod. That's kind of what I bring to it, at least if you ask me. And so I wanted to keep that consistent in my music picks. And so for me, like, I know Halloween is like known for being the spooky holiday, but I think that like a lot of my favorite horror movies have like real strong elements of comedy. And I think that like my favorite examples of horror are ones where like somebody still tries to go the funny route while still presenting a horrific idea. And so that brings me to my third choice, which is a song that was a part of a Saturday Night Live sketch hosted by Chance the Rapper. That was the episode where it was a 2019 episode where he was the musical guest and the host. So he was pulling double duty, and the sketch is called Spooky Song. And I picked this one because one, it really it plays with like Halloween tropes, so to set the stage for you, it's basically a couple walking through a graveyard to hook up on Halloween night, and four ghosts appear to them, and they start singing this spooky song, and each ghost is telling you how they died. And like the whole joke is like that the couple has to just sit there terrified, and then Chance the Rapper's ghost comes up, and he just goes, "You can skip me," and he sits back, and the other ghosts are like, "Well, no, it's the Ditty of the Damned. We all have to sing," and he's trying really hard not to sing, and then he eventually caves, and he's like, "Okay, you guys know what a 9-volt battery is, right? It's important for the story." Which really should just tee you up for what is going to be just like the wildest story ever. And even still, like for SNL standards, my jaw dropped when you find out that like, whereas all the other characters, like they have like weird folksy deaths. Like one of them is like a ship captain who he falls overboard and gets eaten by a shark. Another guy is like a miner, and he accidentally like sticks a thing of dynamite in his mouth and thinks it's a cigar and lights it. So like that's Looney Tunes ish, but still like a scary death. And then you get to Chance's, and his whole thing is that when he was 12, he started sticking 9-volt batteries up his butt because he realized like it gave him a fun little jolt. And then he got so numb to it that by the time he was in his 20s, he was looking for like higher wattage like stimuli. And so he goes up to his roof during a storm, sticks a pole up his butt, and waits for lightning to hit him like Ben Franklin with his kite. That's from the song. Like, that's how he described it. He waits for lightning to strike the pole, and then the pole gets struck. And again, this is all in an SNL song. Like, they didn't like edit this or anything. This is how horrifying it is. His like insides explode, his penis catches fire, his face catches fire, and then he shits himself and dies. And that's why he didn't want to tell the story, because it's super embarrassing and it's like off-putting. And it is just not what I was expecting the first time I saw the sketch. And it's like the way that they go about telling the story, like really forcing it out of him to the point where you're like, oh yeah, I don't think anybody needed to hear that. And it's like, I think it just goes to the heart of like these like funny, to like the trope of like these like stories where like ghosts visit you and have to tell you how they died, and you're supposed to learn something from it. And it's like, well, sometimes people die for really dumb reasons and you didn't need to know. And it's like, this feels like a waste of like spiritual powers. But now we know how that specific ghost died. And I think that that's in its own way important, so that is my third and final official pick, Joe. Spooky song.
Yeah.
Chance the Rapper gets his butthole exploded and has to sing about it.
It's such a funny sketch. I've seen that one
so
before.
funny.
It's so
like
funny.
you guys,
yeah.
you have to check it out for yourself. To like, I don't want to like, even if I spoiled all of that, I haven't given you like how Chance the Rapper sings about it, which is like, I'm always a fan of the SNL guests that come on and like just allow themselves to be like a really weird character, when
Mm-hmm.
like the humility is just like gone and it's really just about just like say the wildest thing you can to throw off the audience. And it's like up until that point, Chance has had like a pretty well manicured like public image. And so to have him come out like in like chalky ghost makeup, like a weird little eraser head afro, and he's just like and the lightning bolt. Like he's like singing like in like this like real like Rogers and Hammerstein-esque way about like the wildest thing ever. It's all just it's really much my jam. If you like my kind of humor, then you're gonna like this. It's very random and funny and absurd.
Yeah. And so like, I don't know like podcast rules and like putting music into like episodes. So I tend to stay away from it mostly. I mean, I think, um, there's probably some element you could, but even if I put a little clip of this song, I don't think you'd get enough. You have to just watch the whole thing. So
Yeah, you really,
yeah.
it's just, and it's like, you're not going to regret it. It's 4 minutes of your life that you're going to be glad you spent on this.
Yeah. So I'll link all these songs, of course, and there you can find the links.
Yeah. And then, yeah, Joe, you said we had some honorable mentions. Did you want to go?
I did say that. I said that early. Sorry, Khalid.
I mean, I'm okay with it. I knew
Yeah.
you had honorable mentions coming.
I know. I just don't want to hurt your feelings.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, I got two. I'm just going to briefly touch on them just because they were like ones that I was considering putting in my top three, but I decided on the other three. But one of them I just think is a fun one to talk about. This is one that actually Nicole Weifenstein introduced me to, is a Taylor Swift song called No Body, No Crime. Have you heard of that one?
I have not. That sounds gangster as hell, though.
Yeah, it's a fun one. It's a murder ballad. Basically, it kind of tells a story of a friend of hers who has a cheating spouse, and the friend eventually goes missing, and the mistress ends up moving in, and so she's like, this guy killed her, and then eventually Taylor Swift's character, or the prospective character, like kills the guy, and she's like, well, I know all these things about how to get rid of a body, so no body, no crime. And so it's a fun little murder story. Like it's kind of a folksy, it's like from 2020, I think, so not super recent, but it's like her Evermore album. It's got a little more twangy, like older Taylor Swift country vibes, but it's a fun one. I recommend that one. And my second little honorable mention was the song Dracula's Wedding from Outkast featuring Kellis.
That was almost going to be one of my three.
I thought it would. I thought it was going to be.
It's pronounced Kellis.
What did I say?
Kellis.
Did I say Kellis? Sorry. I actually knew that, and I don't know why. I think I was just reading really fast. I'm sorry. Yeah, Kellis, yes. From the 2003 album Speaker Box, The Love Below, which was great.
Yeah, I love that era.
I know. I feel like I listened to that so much in high school too.
Yeah, great honorable mentions, Joe. I love those.
Thank you.
My honorable mention is gonna be I didn't want to have two joke songs on my official top three list, so I kept this one off just because like it's too much of just a joke and not enough of an actual song. It's Werewolf Bar Mitzvah, written and performed by Donald Glover doing a Tracy Morgan impression, which I believe the story is that the principal photography for that season had wrapped by the time they had the song ready. So instead of trying to get Tracy Morgan back to do the song, they just had Donald Glover, who was a writer on on 30 Rock at the time, do his Tracy Morgan impression. And it's literally just one joke about like a movie or music video that Tracy's character in 30 Rock did called Werewolf Bar Mitzvah. And they just go, Werewolf Bar Mitzvah, spooky, scary, boys becoming men, men becoming wolves. And if you haven't heard it before, like that's pretty much it. Like there's an extended version that we'll link to, but like that's the joke. It's just that. And it's so funny. And like the first time I've heard it till now, every time it's just brilliant. It's right up there with like some of the best like Simpsons jokes for me, where it rings in my head, and I'll like you can't think Werewolf Bar Mitzvah without thinking boys becoming men, men becoming wolves. Like that immediately follows it, and it's just such a perfect joke, and I love it so much, and I would be remiss to talk about any Halloween song themed discussions and not just honorable mention Werewolf Bar Mitzvah.
Yeah, great one. I need to know a little bit more about this backstory. So like Donald Glover was a writer, and so the joke in the actual show was not supposed to be the fact that Donald Glover was singing it, right? Like it was supposed to
No,
be.
it's literally when you watch the clip of it that I sent you,
Mhm.
it's Tracy Morgan as Tracy Jordan in
Yeah.
werewolf makeup and a Thriller jacket. and and I guess he's probably wearing like a yarmulke or something. Like that's the thing is like I've watched the episode, the clip like a million times, and I still like new stuff keeps coming out to me. But like, yeah, it's like him and like a bunch of other people in like a graveyard set, and it's like smoky and stuff. And he's and like it's Tracy dancing and lip syncing to it. And the idea is supposed to be that it's Tracy. So like the fact that it's Donald Glover is just fun trivia more than anything else. But like that to me just also blows my mind. It's
Yeah.
like it's such an intersection of things I love, and it's like such a great joke even before I realized it was a Donald Glover like original.
Yeah, that's so much fun.
Yeah, so that's my honorable mention.
That's a good one. There is Donald Glover, like Childish Gambino has that zombie song. That's a pretty fun Halloween one too. You ever hear that one?
Yeah, that's off of the Awaken My Love.
Yeah, I forgot about that one, but that's a good one too.
Yeah, I mean that one is also like so inspired by Funkadelic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so like, you know, if you go back to Maggot Brain, the album that really inspired Awaken My Love, or one of the albums that really inspired Awaken My Love, like a lot of spooky songs that came from like funk music too. And it's kind of that Dresden Doll thing of like, it's not that they were trying to make spooky music. It's just that like that aesthetic can like really just shape like a song thematically.
Yeah. So if you're throwing a Halloween party, you could just like have those genres on in the background, and chances are it'll be fitting.
Yeah, people are gonna be like, I am unsettled.
Yeah, exactly. So, well,
yeah.
Well,
how do you feel, Joe? We're at the end of our first Frankenbits.
I feel, I don't know. I feel alive.
That's good. I was worried you wouldn't. You'd be like that. I feel dead. This killed me.
I don't know what answer you're looking for, Khalid.
Oh, I don't know. It's just, you know, having been like the pro at this point between the two of us at Frankenbits and Patreon episodes, I wanted to see what like your first time was, you know, out on the track, checking it out.
Yeah, you're like a seasoned veteran now, aren't you?
At this point, you know, stick with me, kid.
I will. Yeah. No, it's fun. It was fun. I like this. It's a good format. A little bit more low key, a little bit more, you know, fun, buttons, collar down kind of party Joe attitude, right?
Yeah. And since you had your, I don't know what to say to that. I can just let it hang in the air for a second if you want.
I had to give you a moment where you didn't know what to say also. So
fair enough. Yeah. You got me.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, in the same way that you had your own little way of starting Frankenbits, I'm going to have my own way of ending one that's like more casual. And it's actually not more casual. I'm just throwing it out there. Thanks for listening to our Patreon episode about spooky Halloween songs. And until next time, scary on, my wayward son.